To celebrate the nativity of a deity or other event, temples in Taiwan often invite a Ke-tse Opera troupe to perform. They believe that a performance in which actors portray the gods serves as a medium for thanksgiving and prayers. In this way, Ke-tse Opera became a medium of communication with the spiritual world. But Ke-tse Opera does not only serve religion. Over the last century, its vitality has taken many forms. You only need to stand close to the stage to feel the pulse of Taiwanese life. For members of the older generation in Ilan County, it is no exaggeration to say they listened to Ke-tse Opera even before they left their mother's womb. Ilan, after all, is the birthplace of Ke-tse Opera. In the early days, Ilan was populated by immigrants from Jiangzhou in China. During the slack periods, they would sing melodies from their home, telling stories to pass the time. Later, they added dance movements, forming the basis for skits involving 2 to 3 characters. During temple fairs, local boys would form a Ke-tse parade. Whenever they stopped, they would set up a simple stage. This kind of performance was called a floor sweeping and was the embryo from which Ke-tse Opera grew. In those days, Ke-tse groups were exclusively male, and materials for a play were collected locally. It was all very simple, but the stories were often drawn from community life, and passages of humorous vernacular dialogue and slapstick action were inserted among the songs. The gestures used by the characters reflected rural life. About 100 years ago, Ke-tse Opera moved from the street side to the stage, becoming what Ilan people now call old-style Ke-tse. Songs were in 7-character melody and other simple forms, and included much improvisation drawing on local lore. Over the years, this form of opera established a place in the hearts of Taiwan's people. After moving on to an outdoor stage, Ke-tse Opera continued to grow, and its repertoire began to include complete plays. It was also influenced by other forms of opera from the mainland, not least the touring Beijing and Fuzhou opera troupes, which were popular at the time. These inspired developments in gestures, drumming, scenery, and most of all, in music. Like the migrants coming to Taiwan, Ke-tse Opera was constantly adapting and drew on every possible source of nutrition in order to survive.
Go!
although it had grown in stature, it did not forget its origins among the people and continued to express popular sentiment in its songs. During the period of the Japanese occupation, the weeping melody was favored in Ke-tse Opera. This was ideal for expressing the oppression of the people under the colonial government. Women began to go on the stage at this time too, and the centuries of oppression they had endured also found expression in the Ke-tse Opera, creating a strong connection between the women performers on the stage and the female members of the audience. Despite constant interference from the Japanese authorities, who forced performers to wear Japanese costume or even banned it outright, Ke-tse Opera not only survived, but in the 1920s even found a place in mainland China's Minnan region, where it is called village opera.